Hello, creative friends. It's Sue, and I'm back with another video, working with some more resin today. I've got some resin already pre-mixed over here. It's just some clear resin. It's the Let's Resin brand of resin. It's a 1-to-1 epoxy resin, and I have 3 little cups already ready to go over here. And today we're going to be making some molds out of these little zodiac signs that I got off of Amazon. I'll put the link to the signs below. And because all of the different zodiac signs have different elements that they're associated with, such as water, air, earth, and fire, I'm going to make some signs with their element associated with it. So what I'm going to start with are the fire signs. And the fire signs are Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. And with that in mind, I'm going to mix up some colors with mica powders that represent my opinion of fire. I also have some of these kind of yellowy gold flakes. This is just, I don't even know what, but it's not real gold. I just want to say that. So I have some of those I'm going to put in there as well. I also need a little scooper that I put somewhere. But now that I put it somewhere, oh, it's over here. I was going to say, now that I put it somewhere, I can't find it. So I have a little scooper for my mica powders. I have a little resin left over off to the side in case I need it, or in case I'm able to get these done and I want to move on to another one. So I'm going to pause here for a second, just say welcome to everyone who's watching my video. I appreciate you being here. If you're a new person, thank you for stopping by. If you're somebody that has been watching other videos of mine, thank you so much for returning. And if you enjoy the content, leave me a like, leave me a comment, tell me what you would have done differently, ask me to do something new. I'm always looking forward to new kind of creative things to try, so I'm all for it. And subscribe if you feel the urge or the desire to, because it really helps me out and lets me grow and lets me know that this content is something that I want to continue putting out to everyone. So with that being said, let's get into it. I've got my cups here. Let me get my mica powders. The first one I have here is, I'm going to say this wrong, Aurelian yellow, something like that. These are all Rolio mica powders. I got them off of Amazon. This one is tiger orange, and this one is just labeled as gold. So we're going to put some of each of these colors into this resin, and as it sits here, it's going to degas a little bit, which is exactly what I want it to do. So I'm going to put a scoop of the gold in that first one. Clean off my scooper just a little bit if I'm able to. I'm going to put some, I think this is the orange. Yep, a scoop of the orange into the next one. Again, these are my interpretations of fire. You can do it any way you want to. I did do one with red, and the red one I wasn't crazy about. This was a total experimentation, but I thought the red was a little overbearing, so I didn't like it. So I decided to switch it up a little bit. So we'll try this and see what we think. Get some of that orange off my scooper and scoop out about the same amount of yellow. And put these all off to the side. Okay, I don't want this mica getting absolutely everywhere, which it will. So I just took a little bit of my alcohol that I have in a spritzer bottle off to the side. Clean that up a little bit. All right. So now I'm going to mix each one of these up. I don't typically like to use popsicle sticks. If you guys have watched past videos, I'm not a huge popsicle stick fan, because when you're mixing resin, if it's not already got resin on it, it will, the wood, this thin wood that is used in popsicle sticks, will leave air bubbles in your resin. I don't mind using them just to mix up the mica powder, because I know that it will degas as it sits here, and I know it'll degas as it sits in the mold. and it's not introducing a whole lot of air. And generally speaking, when you're mixing up mica powders, you're not like super slow about doing it anyway. So that's that. All right, so there's the gold, really pretty. The next I'm mixing up is the orange. Getting it all off the sides of my cup as much as I can. Mix this up. Get all of the orange mica incorporated in there. All right. All right, get this mixed up really well. See those giant air bubbles popping in there that I created when I was mixing that around. And last but not least is this Aurelian yellow. And if I'm saying that wrong, so sorry. It's not a word I'm familiar with. But this is a little bit of a, I don't know, it's kind of a strange yellow. It's more of a goldy color, but it's not gold like the other gold. It's more yellow. Makes me think of dandelions. All right. So those are all mixed up well, and I'll mix them up again before I pour them into my molds. I want to clean up my glove here a little bit because I had a little resin on there. Alrighty, let's start with Aries the Ram. Oh, one last thing before I do that. I forgot to put my little flakes in here that I was going to use. I don't want a whole ton of them, but I do want a few in each one of these colors. It's just to add a little more of a thought of fire in here, I guess. That's what it makes me think of anyway. I think I want just a little bit more because I think it's a little bit, there's a little too few. I don't know where I got this. It just came in a kit with something that I ordered probably from Amazon a lifetime ago. Like I said, these will be mixed up in the resin and they're probably going to sink to the bottom of my piece. So I will likely add a little bit to the top as it's curing so that you can see a little bit more of that shimmer. All right, there we go. Bring my mold back over here again. All right, so Aries the Ram. I'm going to do this in stages because I don't want all of the colors to be on one side or the other, which is what I ran into with the lion there. It wasn't that I didn't like him, it just wasn't precisely what I was going for. I kind of had something in my head and I wasn't sure how to accomplish it necessarily, so I had to get it out of my brain and then start with something new. So once I did that one, I kind of had a better idea of what I wanted to do with the rest of these. And that's just how the creative process works. Put some of that yellow or that gold in there. Now I've got some of this yellow. Put this in the feet here. I don't want this to become all yellow, so I'm going to add some of the orange in the middle here. I'm not going to swirl this when I'm done because I don't want it to be muddy. I'm just going to drop bloops of this, which is why I'm doing it slowly like this. I don't want it, like I said, I don't want it to be all about muddied colors. I know that they're not necessarily going to stand out in particular, but they will give me a kind of mixed aura of fire. That's what, like I said, what I'm going for. I apologize if I don't talk a lot while I'm doing this, but I'm just trying to concentrate on what I'm doing. So just so you know. Dropping some more of that orange in there. Putting a little down at the tip, down here on the base. Just kind of putting it everywhere. I think a little bit more of this gold. Up here in the head. Down here in the body. Now, one thing I know that I'm going to do when I'm all done with this is I am planning on putting a top layer of UV resin on them as like a dome, because the back side of this mold will be totally fine. They'll be nice and flat is what I mean. The front side, the top side, when it finally does cure, may end up having a little bit of a, I'm sorry if I was way down low in that shot, I didn't mean to be. May have a little of a indentation after the resin settles and cures, so I may need to top coat it. If I don't need to top coat it, because of that reason, I still am going to, because I'm going to be putting the word of the sign in there. And what I mean by that is, when I'm all done, Sagittarius here will be laying across here. And the only way I can do that without it sinking to the bottom is to put it on top. Yes, I could lay it across the bottom, upside down, and pour the resin. I'm afraid the resin will sink underneath it and prevent it from being seen. It's pretty flat on the surface, but again, I don't want to take that chance. So I am going to put it on the top. I've got a little tiny piece of gold flake over here that just kind of plopped out when I was pouring the resin in, so I'm going to remove that. I don't need that to be sitting there like that. All right. Well, I think for the most part, Sagittarius is done. I'm going to do the same process to the other molds, and I'm going to do that off camera so you don't have to watch it being tedious like that. And then we'll cure these and get ready to put the words on them and seal them off with a top coat. So stay tuned. All right, here we are. We are done in the resin curing machine. And both sets of our molds turned out beautifully. They're cured, but they're still soft, which is exactly what I wanted. And now we just have to wait until they fully cure in order to be able to mold them. However, I'll put Sagittarius in here. Let's see if he will maybe fit, hopefully. Sort of, I don't know. It's going to be tight and it's going to hang over a little bit, but I think we're good. So I'm going to put this in here. It's going to hang over just a little bit there, but I think it'll be okay. Things are bouncing back a little bit. I might have left them in a tad bit too long is what I'm thinking here. And if that's the case, then it's okay. Because I can always let them be raised a little bit, which I really don't have a problem with doing. I found my Leo, and I'm just pushing him in there. It doesn't seem to matter how much I try not to put my fingerprints in there, they still go. but they've already kind of disappeared sort of from my Sagittarius. So okay, I'm going to leave the words in there even though they're not very well pressed in, because this resin is still it's still soft, but it's very resilient. And I do have some wells in here I can already feel with my fingers that are going to need to be filled in with the UV resin. So I'm just going to let these finish curing, and once I finish curing them, then we'll come in, we'll put a quick top coat on of UV resin. We'll make our names stay in place as best we can, and we'll be done. So stay tuned. Okay, everyone, so we're back, and I'm gonna take these little guys out of their molds and we'll see what we have. So we have the Sagittarius, the Leo, Aries is up here. Let's take them out and see what they look like. This is always my favorite part. Okay, so there's Leo, nice and shiny, beautiful. There's the back side of him. I like the way he turned out. So I do have a little bit of a lip on here. I know you're not probably going to be able to see it very well. You can see it a little bit back here. I will have to put a little bit of UV resin on here. The Leo did stick to it because the resin was soft enough. It is raised, you can see it there, but I will put some UV resin around it and cure it, and this guy will be done. So I'm very pleased with him. Let's do Sagittarius next. And I probably said it earlier in the video, but if I haven't said it, I'll say it now and repeat myself potentially. But I will put a link to all of the items I'm using in this video down below, so you have them. And even though there's just a little bit of a hangover, the Sagittarius actually worked out pretty well. And just like the Leo, he turned out beautiful. The hole is nice and clear. So yeah, pleased with him as well. And last but not least, Aries. Let's take him out, see how he did. I know there's probably not too much different between any of these molds, but I'm going to show you the whole process. So there's Aries. He does have a little bit of a lip as well around the edge, so I will fill that in with some UV resin. But he looks pretty. Backside is very pretty as well. There you go. All right. So I have a silicone mold over here. It's a excuse me, so sorry. I have a silicone mold here. It's a clock mold, but it just happens to be nice and flat and sturdy, and I can move it from here to my UV light without any problem. And it fits everybody on here that I need to have it fit. So that's a good thing. I will get my trusty Decorum UV resin. I have a little spatula over here, a little silicone guy. And all I'm going to do is just put a little resin on here. Especially down here in the bow area, because it's part of the place where there's a little bit of a dip. So I want these to be all nice and as level as I can get it. And I'm really focusing on putting the UV resin where the word is, not only just around, you know, the places where there's a slight dip. So I'm just dragging this resin out a little bit. I probably need to put a little bit more. up around the head area here because I didn't really put any resin there. If I'm quiet right now, it's just because I'm trying to get this resin on here or in these little shallow places without knocking it over the edge, because if it goes over the edge, then I'm going to have a weird spill. And I don't want that. So I'm going to turn this, just take a look down in there, make sure that I don't have anything that I need to clean up. All right. So you see what I'm going to do here. I'm just really going around with my UV resin, filling in the gaps, making sure that there's good adherence around the word Sagittarius on this one. Leveling everything up so there's not too much of a dip anywhere. This is going to take me a little bit of time to get to complete, so I'm going to do it off camera. I do not want you guys having to sit through all of that tediousness. So once I've got all of them done, we'll come back and pop it into my UV light and cure everything. So we'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm just pulling my guys out of my UV resin lamp, and they should be all cured by now. So they are. They're nice and solid. And they look pretty good. And even though that's raised, now it's got the UV resin around it to keep it nice and solid. There's no longer any wells on anything. So the UV resin definitely did the trick. Covered everything up, made that word nice and solid now. Like I said, got rid of the little gaps that there were. I did notice one thing on Aries here that you may or may not be able to see if I get in the light just right, but right here there's a little gap that didn't get filled in by the resin, and I can go in and quickly fix that. So I will do that off camera. But yeah, these are the guys all finished, and they will be part of a keychain set that I am making for my shop. So if you're interested, they will be over there in the coming days. Got to make a few more. Need to go on and do the other signs, but these turned out cute, and I'm happy with the colors choices that I made and with the little gold foil flake things that I put in there. So yeah, if you have any thoughts or any comments about anything that I can answer, anything that you'd like to see me do in the future, please leave a comment below. I appreciate everybody stopping by to watch this quick video. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll be doing some new ones in the future, so keep an eye out. Stay safe and well and happy wherever you are, and I will see you another time. Bye.